Let's move on to the Walt Disney Company, which owns TV networks ABC and ESPN, theme parks, resorts, and consumer products.
Yeah, of course, everybody knows them because of Disney, the movies and the resorts like Disney World, Disneyland, and all that sort of thing. But probably the bigger part of the business nowadays is ESPN, which, of course, if everyone is a sort of sports fan like I am, would know it's one of the major bouquets that's in all of the global service providers from a sport point of view. Very similar to Supersport, perhaps not quite as good as Supersport.
Market cap, $174.7 billion. So this is sizable. What we were just talking about, Comcast at $180 billion.
Yep.
PE ratio of 19.2, dividend yield here of 1.4%. Again, let's just now get a comparative on the share price graph. And also seeing it track higher, not at an all-time high though, Paul.
It was a bit wobbly in 2015, 2016 on some earnings disappointments, some talk that ESPN would come out of certain bouquets, some fights, but it has had the benefit of the post-Trump rally you can see at the end there.
Walt
Chris?
Disney, have you got any thoughts on what we should be doing from an investment perspective?
This is a real mixed bag, Bronwyn, because if you look at it, I mean, Paul's mentioned quite a few of the elements to this thing. And on the one hand, ESPN taking a little bit of strain recently because the National Football League has been bumping up their costs dramatically, and viewership flagging a little bit. But nevertheless, they're doing well on the film side. They're opening a lot more in the way of theme parks. I believe this year they're going to be opening things like Avatar Land and Toy Story Land. And wonderful stuff, isn't it? It's great.
Especially if you've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. You can imagine I'm going to be spending a lot of my free time in theme parks.
So that's why I say it's hugely diversified. They can't find a new CEO. Bob Iger has been
done a tremendous job.
Fantastic
and he keeps
job.
staying on.
And it looks like he's going to extend his contract again.
Why can't they find a new CEO?
Well, it's big shoes to fill, basically, I think. And there've been a few contenders or pretenders in there, and they haven't quite lost at the pace. But so Iger is committed to trying to find a successor, but it's difficult.
So nobody wants to put up their hand and drop the
Probably
ball.
they have some options, but everybody loves him so much that they don't really want to step down. And he got the job quite young and has done a tremendous job, so on and so forth. Look,
Well, if he's the right man for the job, then he must continue.
I suppose so. He certainly doesn't look like he's getting too old for the job.
The theme park you were saying?
Well, they've opened the new one in Shanghai, and apparently when the new one in Shanghai was opened, there are 300 million people that are within a sort of hour and a half's drive from that theme park and are planning to visit it. So that's very encouraging. The movie stuff, remember, that's Pixar as well as Marvel. So Marvel is the one that owns all of those things, the Avengers, all of those repeated blockbuster things where they take the comic characters and they turn them into movies. And then there's the merchandising rights. So all of the Disney movies, you've no doubt, you've got a daughter who's 5 or 6.
I'm
You've got to have the whole outfit, Moana outfit.
I'm
and then when that one gets grubby, there's got to be another one because you can't go to school without wearing your Frozen outfit,
Star Wars,
franchise.
absolutely. Yeah.
Massive businesses, and these run across their theme parks, their movies, and then they go into the libraries. Every time you watch something like that on your DSTV bouquet, they're earning royalties from those relationships.
Hot or not?
Look, I kind of like it. I think we're probably going to see a tie-up with Netflix in the not too distant future. Earnings are going to be out today, in fact, and it looks like revenues are going to be flat. Earnings down maybe 8-9% or thereabouts. I'm not wild about this one. I think we have to see more concrete evidence that it's going to outperform, so I'm not hot.
Not hot. Paul?
Maybe a little bit of pressure on the cruising and all that sort of business. Remember, we haven't spoken about that, but they got that too. No, I'm going to go hot as well.
You're going hot as well.
I just think the environment
Caution,
for these
throwing
companies
caution to the wind, I
looks
see.
more positive, yeah.